Paul Stewart Stevenson to speak to Move Amendment Treaty 22.2, 6 minutes.
Thank you very much, Presiding Officer. We have had a perfect illustration of the Labour member's reading skills. There are none. He clearly has read little or anything of the STPR. The Maybole bypass is in there. It is in there on the interventions for the A77. I can confirm that.
John Scott.
It is needed to secure a bypass from Maybole, which would be a benefit to all people in southern Ayrshire, is for the government to include the project as part of the enhancement of the A77 south of Ayr, referred to in the Strategic Transport Project Review. Can he give the people of South Ayrshire that commitment today?
Work for the Maybole bypass is included in that. It is safety focused, of course, because it is precisely that. In the 6 minutes I have, I'm going to address as many of the points as is possible. I will make some progress before I beg your pardon, I will take from the member because of her interest.
Cathy Jimison.
On the particular point about the Maybole bypass, if it is in there, will you today give a commitment as to when that work will commence and when it will be completed?
The STPR will be funded. I beg your pardon. The STPR will be funded through successive spending reviews. The Maybole bypass and all the other work there similarly will be considered as the funds are available. But it is in that A77 intervention. Reference was made to the Hoddigan roundabout. The very first oral answer in May 2007 that I gave the absolute assurance of this government's commitment to deal with the issues there. I repeat that assurance, as I appear to have had to do on a weekly basis ever since. Sooner or later, somebody will hear that the Hoddigan roundabout will be fixed by this government in the interest of the people in Aberdeen. But the STPR is about strategic, nationally important projects. It distills down a huge number of projects into the 29 interventions that we as a government will directly deliver. We are clear about our delivery priorities, clear about the timescales within which interventions can be delivered. The Force Replacement Crossing, of course, is central to our strategic transport priorities. It is a vital economic link that must be maintained, and I know there is broad, if not universal, agreement across the Chamber on that issue. And financially, of course, it dominates what is going on. In parallel, we are able to undertake a substantial number of rail improvements between Edinburgh and Glasgow, the Highland Main Line between Aberdeen and Inverness. But these will be the things that dominate to 2016. We, as a government, take responsibility for what the SDPR will deliver. We intend to do that. I recognise, of course, that not all the decisions will be welcomed by everyone, because there are schemes not in the SDPR. When you consider 1,000 projects, that is inevitable. Good government is about approaching the problem systematically and taking some tough decisions. Let me talk a bit about Elgin, because there are some important issues around Elgin that influence the way forward. There have been a number of studies. Those studies come up with a range of different conclusions about numbers. The Hightrans study suggests that we're looking at 20,227 annual average traffic movements in the centre of Elgin. But our monitoring at the edge of Elgin, on the trunk road, shows 7,000. Quite a different number. What, of course, that tells us is that the issues for congestion in Elgin are very largely local issues. There also is a difference in view in the modelling that's been done by ourselves and by Hightrans about the transfer effect. We think only 10 to 35% of the 7,000 vehicles going into Elgin will in fact transfer to the bypass. There is a 60% figure that Hightrans have of their 20,000. Now, that numerical difficulty doesn't mean there isn't a problem to be solved. Of course there is. But it does indicate that further work has to be done to understand the distinction between the benefit that can be delivered by upgrading a trunk road with a new bypass to the south of the town and interventions that affect local traffic inside the town. That is why we are continuing to work with the RTP, with the local council, on the issue. It is an intervention which we will continue to pursue with energy, with a commitment. We are, of course, the very first administration to adopt the whole of the 82 route improvement plan. Why have we done that? Well, 13 people died on the 82 in 2007. It is a road where engineering interventions can make a very real difference. Right across Scotland, safety is our top priority and will be pursued by us. Right across Scotland, we will continue to engage with communities, with regional transport partnerships. I noticed that the Labour member appeared to suggest we should abolish regional transport partnerships when he said that only the government should be making interventions. Well, we take a different view, and I think that different view is shared across the chamber. I'll be interested to hear from the former convener of Nestrans. I move the amendment that stands in my name, Presiding Officer.